Well, hey, everybody, and welcome to Cleveland Browns Stadium after a big day. Cleveland Browns 31, Jacksonville Jaguars 27. It was a nail-biter of a game that featured 7 turnovers and certainly some ugly, frustrating moments, but also some pretty impressive big moments. The Browns handled the way they were supposed to in a game that I don't want to say it ever felt like they could lose, but there were a few nervous moments along the way where things weren't you didn't see the Browns pulling away the way maybe you would expect them to. And ultimately a game that they needed to field an onside kick successfully at the end to officially ice it, but nevertheless got it done 31-27. Brendan Gulick, Anthony Moeglin with you. Ant, what's your first takeaway here from a big day?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head. It never felt like every time the Browns would pull away just a little bit, they would do something. And it never was the Jaguars making a move back. It was the Browns, a mess up by the Browns. It was a turnover here or a misplay here, or just something that they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. And it felt like, we've been playing really good. And it's hard to say it this year because they've been in these competitive games. They've been coming out on top every now and again, but it had a weird vibe to it. And then you look across the field and it's like the last time Joe Flacco was in this stadium was that meltdown against the Jets. And you're like, you never want to go there, but you're like, holy cow, this cannot happen again. So they fielded the onside kick and the rest is history. So come out with a win. That's all you got to do. More points than the other team.
Yeah. Hey, look, the big news post game, Kevin Stefanski, somewhat surprisingly, in my opinion, unequivocally said yes when he was asked, is Joe Flacco your starting quarterback for the rest of the season? So that's good news, right? There is no more quarterback controversy whatsoever in Cleveland. I don't know exactly what the moves you're going to see on paper are, practice squad or not, how they may or may not add him in a certain time frame to an active 53-man roster. But Joe's proven he's the guy. And actually, we said at pregame, I thought there was a chance you might see DTR in some kind of a special package, and that's exactly what happened today. Came at a big moment, and Dorian picked up a first down when they really needed it, so that was good. But Joe's the guy moving forward. And just as everybody thought back when we were at the Greenbrier, Joe Flacco, Kareem Hunt, and Dustin Hopkins leading the way for the Browns this year.
Amazing. Great. What a great call by you too. Like, hey, to have a couple DTR wrinkles in there, and they were timely and they were perfect. It was awesome. Joe Flacco, 2 starts with the Cleveland Browns, 49 of 99, 565 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's pretty darn good, man. That's good football for a guy who was on his mom's couch 3 weeks ago watching.
Well, NFL. I mean, I don't think it was his mother's couch. I think it was his own couch.
No, that's what they were saying.
Was it his mom's couch?
Yeah, he was at his mom's place.
Maybe he was on more than one couch. He's married with 5 kids. I think there's a chance it was also his couch. Either way, look, he threw for 300 yards today. The Browns haven't had a quarterback throw for 300 since Jacoby Brissett did that against the Bills back in November of last year. The Browns have now won a game with 4 different starting quarterbacks this year. That's kind of wild. It's only happened now 8 times since 1950 over the course of the NFL long history. So, there are a lot of things about this team that are kind of fun to think about and reflect on because, so many of them are abnormal. Mm-hmm. But good teams find ways to win games when they are not playing at their best. It could still get it done. And this team several times this year has found ways to win ugly. So credit for that because it calluses you. It toughens you up when the playoffs come around. And, I mean, look, you never really know, man. Just get in and see what happens. Try to make a run. It's possible.
This was a playoff game today, and this is how they all feel, right? We experienced one a couple years ago where we got out to a 28-0 lead, and it came down to a one-score game. Like, this back-and-forth feel is what it's going to take in the playoffs, and it's awesome to get that experience. We've had a couple the last couple weeks where they've been close late, and we couldn't shut the door, and we gave the games away. Think about the Rams game last week. You're down 1 in the fourth quarter, and you lose by 14. Like, you just let those opportunities slide. Today, they shut the door. The defense, I thought, was fantastic. The offense put them in horrible situations twice. Only gave up 27 points. But I thought they were fantastic. MJ Emerson, game of his life. It's got to be, right?
Yeah, and I'm glad he did it because I didn't think he played great on the 2-game road trip. And I really felt like the Browns desperately needed him to step up today and play well, especially with Denzel Ward, who Denzel didn't play. And there are those saying he was never going to play. I don't think we were really reading between the lines that much when speaking with Denzel on Thursday this week. asking him about his progress, he said it's great. And he just sort of indicated, without saying the words, I'm playing Sunday. Mm-hmm. He sure made it seem like he was playing this week. Kevin Stefanski admitted, post-game when I asked him, hey, how close was Denzel to playing? And, he danced around it a little bit and saying, well, he was questionable, so he's 50-50, but he's made a lot of progress. Yeah. So I don't know if they were internally hopeful that he was going to get there this week or not. Regardless, to circle back, Emerson needed to play well because Juan Thornhill tweaked his calf pregame. That's another big loss. So now all of a sudden you're looking at a defense going, wait a second. No Thornhill. Ronnie Hickman's going to play today. No Denzel Ward. Cam Mitchell's back off IR. You hope he's going to look like what we think he can look like. You're leaning pretty heavily on those guys and Greg Newsome to go out and make plays. And largely, I thought the secondary played well today. But Jim Schwartz made a huge push this week saying the defensive line needed to play better. And I thought the defensive line was disruptive.
I thought so too. And even to add to the secondary before coming back to the D-line, you lose Grant Delpit midway through the third quarter. So now you're you're looking around, you're like, uh-oh, I don't know what's going on. And then in a pivotal play, 4th down, right at midfield, right on the Brownie the Elf, it was Ronnie Hickman and it was Cam Mitchell making a play on Zay Jones, who's been in the league for forever. 2 rookies, a 5th-round pick and an undrafted guy, making a play to win the football game. That's what this team's about. And Miles even said it at the end of the game when he was giving his thoughts on MJ Emerson. He was like, the dude loves football. He doesn't change if it's Wednesday or if it's Sunday. You couldn't tell. He just gets out and loves football. And that's what you see from this team. It felt like they got their swagger back. JOK's dancing. Mo Hurst is getting his belly rub in. Like everyone, like all that stuff that we loved early on in the year that we hadn't seen the past couple of weeks because it's been tough and it's been tough sledding. They come home. They looked great. Defensive line stepped it up, played well. And even to Miles's point in his presser, and we'll get to this, he thought it was poorly officiated. So he was getting fighting uphill. We'll say that much.
Well, I mean, we could say more than that. Miles called the officiating a travesty. I think he probably spent a little money after the game today. We'll follow that along the way, but he didn't mix words in saying that, guys are putting their hands in his face mask and grabbing him around the back of his, the back of his shoulder pads and near his helmet. And it sounds like it's been a long time coming. So, decided today to say something.
And to that point too, Brendan, like all game long, getting held, getting hands to the face, just not going his way, no sacks. They're going for 2 with a chance to cut it to 2 points and have a chance to win the football game. And who makes the play on the 2-point conversion? Myles Garrett. It's hey, the last 3 weeks have been tough for him, right? He's injured. He's not producing, not having a bunch of tackles, but it doesn't matter. Every play he's giving it his all, and it showed up there on that 2-point conversion to kind of seal the game a little bit.
Big day for Flacco, 26 of 45, 311, 3 touchdowns. He had 1 interception, and he was laughing at himself, and he said, well, yes, I did fumble a ball on a guy that sacked me coming from my front side, so I guess it wasn't a perfect day. Yeah. The Browns ran the ball well enough. Jerome Ford led the way, 12 carries for 51. Kareem Hunt had a touchdown, 10 touches for 27 yards total. And nicely done by David Njoku and Amari Cooper. They combined for 13 catches and 168 receiving yards with the 2 touchdowns for Njoku. Obviously, David Bell caught the big open touchdown pass as well. 3 touchdowns of 30 or more yards through the air for Flacco today. That has not happened for a Cleveland Browns quarterback in quite a while.
It has not. My favorite part about the receiver stats, 8 different receivers caught the football today. So It wasn't like in last week, 9 receivers. So that's the best part. My favorite part about watching Flacco play is that the ball goes where the defense dictates it. It doesn't matter if it's going to Jordan Akins or if it's Elijah Moore or if it's Amari Cooper or whoever. David Bell, biggest play of the game, 4th down, 41-yard touchdown. Like, it doesn't matter. He's going to throw the football where the defense dictates it every single time. And that's honestly my favorite part about watching him play the quarterback position.
And look, Kevin Stefanski, I think, has had a really good year. I wouldn't call it a perfect year. He probably wouldn't call it a perfect year. But he certainly he made some calls you get paid to make that you got to convert on. And today they did, including a 55-yard field goal in December in Cleveland in a little bit of wind to basically ice the game. Dustin Hopkins nailed it. So Cleveland got it done in exciting fashion against a team that I would be very surprised if Jacksonville is not a playoff team. I don't think there's enough time left for them to slide out of the playoffs. But whether or not they're going to be, one of the top 2 seeds in the AFC, I guess still kind of remains to be seen. Kansas City and what happened with Baltimore today. Good grief. I mean, come on, man. When are the Browns going to catch a break with that?
Yeah, right. I guess some they say it's better to be lucky than good. The Ravens are good and lucky. So that was a tough deal. That would have been awesome because that brings you one game back from the North. And Jacksonville, how about Jacksonville, man? They got to be shaking their fist at the schedule makers because they go Bengals, Browns, Ravens, and they got the Ravens next week. A tough one. Would have been great if they could go help us out and take down the mighty Ravens. But we'll see. Regardless, you're sitting at 8-5. You're on top of the wild card and in a really great position. In a week that was a really transition week with the Houston losing, with Indianapolis losing, and with Pittsburgh losing as well.
Yeah, no doubt. It was a great day for the Browns. Final score 31-27. We got plenty more wrapping this one up over at BrownsDigest.com.